Some shocking new developments have been made in the MAGAverse civil war over immigration as Trump finally weighs in and picks his side in. As a surprise to no one, except maybe the MAGA voters he duped, he's following the money. So we'll get into that, but first let's watch MAGA stooge Charlie Kirk making a rather interesting argument against H-1B visas.
And it sounds good. Let's just let more H-1B workers in. But what about the 23-year-old that went to University of Washington and studied computer science at the UW Computer Science Department? Shouldn't he be given preference above someone who could do the work for far less? It is about priorities, and it's not about what Charlie Kirk wants. It's not about what other people want out there. And I have friends on both sides of this debate. It's very simple. It's what the American people wanted. And the American people overwhelmingly voted for less immigration and the prioritization of the American children and the American worker.
I mean, there's multiple things wrong with what he's saying here, but I want to drill down on a sentiment that's not only hilarious, but kind of reflects how most of the MAGA base feels, at least in terms of how they're reacting and posting about it and such, where all it took was H-1B visas for the right to both understand and admit that structural racism exists. Of course, they're saying, it's only to white people in the form of Indians in the tech field, but it's still a concession from their previous position of structural racism can't and doesn't exist to now saying, well, it is being used against us. And then that the solution to this structural racism is DEI. Like, it's actually hilarious considering H-1B visas are sponsored by employers and by definition have to be given to fill jobs unqualified Americans couldn't. So these are more qualified workers being chosen by the employers on that basis, of whom the right wants less qualified workers taking preference over on the basis of their race and nothing else. Like, it's hilarious that this is what they've been pretending DEI is. They were so against it too, even though it's not even how it's actually applied for black people. But then they 180 their position and say, no, us victimized white people need this DEI. We need preference on our race over Indians because they're taking advantage of us, which gets us to Trump's response here, as the MAGA voter base was hoping that, they're outraged and they're hoping Trump is going to come in and weigh in and be on their side because they were claiming that Elon and Vivek are going against Trump and what he said he was going to do, what they voted for on squashing immigration, and that they only have this position because, they're elites. They wear mask off. They're showing us that they're fake MAGA and they're elites and they want to profit from this and they're oligarchs. And of course, they're thinking that Trump this whole time is going to come in and take their side and kick Elon and Vivek out of the party, but now he's weighed in, and in hilarious fashion, the MAGA voter base was once again fooled as he sided with the tech bro billionaires base of his constituency that has kind of always controlled his decisions, as if we're being honest. It's hilarious that the same thing that won him this undying loyalty from his cult, and that being immigration, is what's leading to the unraveling of so many in his base, realizing that he's always been with and for the elites and listening to them instead of the middle class, the blue collar wing of his base. And if you think that maybe he's just always had this position, right? Maybe that they're just trying to take this out of context to pretend like, oh, look, but it's what he's always believed. Like, no, it's not. It hasn't. He absolutely lied to MAGA. Let's run the clip of Trump in 2016 claiming that these visas were horrible and should not exist.
Well, first of all, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad.
There he is, clearly saying we shouldn't have them. It's bad for business. It's bad for workers. In 2020, he came out against them hard, saying he would suspend these visas, that they need destroyed, all of this. But now he doesn't have voters to court or to appeal to. He doesn't have to win over the working class anymore. I mean, he's won his final election and he's solidified his place with big tech elites through the Vance pick, through Elon, through Vivek. And now he's completely 180 on the position to no, us rich guys should be able to use cheaper labor. We don't actually care about America or America first. It's literally all about our profit, and whatever enriches us more, we're going to go with. And it's just that until now, that aligned with stuff that we could sell as America first. And now half of them are feeling duped and realizing this has been a sham the entire 8 years. My entire personality I've cultivated was cultivated on a lie. This man has never been anti-establishment. He is the establishment. And the other half are just, of course, 180ing their positions with him, pretending they never had the previous opinions and they're stupid and just moving on. I mean, there's also people who are like conspiratorially trying to pretend that the left is doing this or something. Like, these are the people who will never sway away from Trump. No matter what happens, it's always the left or it's something else. Like, his position on things determines what theirs are going to be, essentially.